Professor, I know it's against the rules to have sex in the dorms, but Professor, I think I got a girl pregnant.
We can talk more tonight.
Professor, excuse me, I know you're going to your room, but I'm failing class, and the guidance counselor said that I'm going to get kicked out of the high school if I don't improve my grades, and I'm really scared.
We can talk more tonight.
Professor, I know this is kind of embarrassing, but I've got a lump on my nut.
We can talk more tonight.
Deal with it. Professor, out. Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Professor, out. Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Professor, out.
I'm Jerry McGreer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I talk about all things X-Men, and we're back with more origin issues. Gary, it's the Wolverine. First time anybody ever saw him, sort of.
He's here, the world's first and greatest Canadian superhero.
I love it.
Yep.
Some dude had a Canadian agenda. I think this comic is really weird and great, to be honest with you, Gary. Like, it's not good, but it's weird and great, if that makes sense.
No, this is a lot of fun. I have not read very much old school Hulk.
Me either.
When your main character just yells constantly, like in the third person, you know? It's a real weird decision to make the Hulk a comic where a lot of the time he just runs around going like, "You friend will smash," for the entire time.
I've also not read a lot of comic books where they just diss the main character constantly. Like, we'll get to it in here, but there's one point where they talk about like Hulk's brain power, and it's just like his enormous empty skull or something. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, y'all are writing this, you know that, right? Like, you don't have to be that mean to him.
Of course, we're talking about this because the first appearance of Wolverine, first real appearance, he showed up as a silhouette, but this is the first issue featuring him.
Yeah, I accidentally read 180, so I've consumed twice as much old Hulk as you have now, Gary.
Yeah, you have the context. I don't have the context.
You're not missing anything. It's exactly what's on the page. Like you could have skipped the issue entirely. They do say the words Weapon X in that issue, though, which I don't think they do in this one. So no,
they do in this one as well.
They
refer to him as Weapon X. Yeah. This is Hulk 181, very valuable comic as well. This is something I see in comic trade shows and stuff for lots of money. This is Len Wein and Herb Trimp, which sounds like a Tim and Eric ass fake name.
Yep.
Like I've never heard a more fake sounding name than Herb Trimp.
Herb Trimp.
And both of which are fine. Like the writing is just kind of house style and the art is just kind of house style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At the time.
This could be dramatically worse, I think, which is saying a lot. And yeah, we're going to open up on Hulk and the Wendigo having a fight and being interrupted by the Wolverine. We don't learn a lot about Wolverine in this. Just like we don't see any mutant healing factor. We just know that he has claws and that he's short. Like they go out of their way to talk about how this dude is a short king.
And fast. Like he's a little agile man. He looks like our Wolverine except for the mask.
Yeah.
Like there's some subtle differences in the rest of the costume, but this is when he had like a pretty dorky bad mask.
Very Batman-esque mask. Like
but like yellow Batman.
Also, I know this is kind of a hack thing to say, but like throughout this comic, he makes references to like, I'm like the Wolverine, I'm fast and agile. And again, if you ever just go look up videos of Wolverines, like I don't know why, and like other than it sounds fucking cool, like a Wolverine sounds awesome. It's not a particularly like graceful animal.
It's a scary animal or graceful. Yeah.
I don't want to piss off Wolverine Twitter or anything. I'm just saying like there's it's the dog shit of animals.
I think it's just because calling him like the Badger.
Yeah, the honey bear.
The honey bear. We could have been an entirely different, like the world of X-Men could have gone a different way if he had been, the sloth or something. For some reason, the writer of this thinks that the word "through" is spelled THRU. And at first, I just thought it was Wolverine doing that. Heads up, Harry's the Wolverine's coming through. But then later, a character who's not in battle says "through" and spells it that same way.
I feel like
it's very distracting to me.
I feel like you can use that, huh? Like that's a word.
It's not correct. spelling. Like you can use it. You know,
I mean, but
it's not.
It is a variation of that word, right?
I don't think it's an official variation of that word. I mean, I could be wrong about that.
I have used that word a lot, so I'm kind of hoping I haven't just been acting like a dumbass. I just assumed that it was an actual word.
I thought it was a shortened thing for like drive-through. You know, you do it shortened. You do the shortened version, so you can put all that text on there.
Through THRU is an alternate spelling that should only be used in informal writing or when referring to drive-throughs. And ironically, when they spell drive-throughs with THRUGHS. So that now I'm very confused. Come on, Grammarly. You can't tell me to do a thing and then not do it. What the hell, man? Come to your website for important information. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess it's just a shortened version of a word that I just often use. I only use it in text messages.
I guess Wolverine is being highly informal.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's going to be informal, I mean, he doesn't talk about himself in the third person like Hulk does constantly.
Everyone's real informal in this comic. They should have made it the informal Hulk. Yeah.
It's a fight. They talk a lot. They fight a lot. We learn that he has adamantium claws. We don't know what adamantium is. We just see the word and we're like, oh, it's just like unobtainium. Must be pretty important.
Yeah. I like how he says, I'll just keep moving because moving is the thing I do best. Like he's still trying to get to the catchphrase.
Yep.
You know? Wendigo is a big pile of nothing during this. He's treated like a threat, but he just gets roundly trounced pretty continuously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Wolverine can't hurt the Hulk, get through his skin. So he just kicks Wendigo off a mountain and then just stabs the shit out of Wendigo.
Gotta love it.
Yep. And this makes Hulk, the human idiot, think since Wolverine is fighting Wendigo, he must be Hulk's friend.
Yep.
So Hulk is like, Hulk, help.
And Wolverine is like, I don't know why this fucker thinks that I'm his friend. This is really weird. Like they did not train me for this when they were giving me images of my mother to slay in weird psychological experiments, as we're going to learn much later.
They don't like a lot of times when they're briefing people on the Hulk, they talk about how he can hurt you a lot. They don't talk about how he's easily fooled by child games and shit. Like if you want to fight the Hulk, you show him a magic trick. Like you do that thing where your thumb comes off, and then Hulk is just like staring at you for days.
I've got a trick that I do with kids where I tell them that they have 11 fingers, and I bet I could fucking stump the Hulk with the 11 finger trick. Like I can count them for you, Hulk. Like look, I can count them. You're just not counting them correctly. The other thing I wanted to bring up in this comic book specifically is how much they talk about how powerful the legs are, Hulk's legs. Like it feels like there's 3 panels where in this one it's like the most awesomely powerful leg muscles on Earth. Like, excuse me? Are we sure about that?
Beautiful, delectable feet.
Yeah. What are we doing here? This feels a little odd. And his beautiful green toes. Like, excuse me? Wait, hold up.
Like each individual emerald's wet in my mouth. I'm Len Wein. Wolverine is like, okay, let's team up. And Hulk's like, haha, good plan. And throws the Wendigo at a bunch of trees.
And Wolverine's impressed by this. Like, man, he threw that dude through a tree. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Good job. They knock out Wendigo. And he's like, he's as good as dead. And he's not dead because he can't die. And then Wolverine immediately turns on Hulk. Because Hulk just assumed.
Yeah.
The Hulk peers at his pint-sized companion in quiet confusion.
Gotta love that, dude.
This fucking idiot. The somber little man. And then Hulk starts fighting him, and Hulk does the whole, like, you're just like all the puny humans. You betray Hulk. Hulk will smash.
Yeah, the issue before this was Hulk just trying to get out into nature. And there was a really funny part because he's just like, he's tired of puny humans hassling him because he landed on a dude's fence and the dude like yelled at him, and Hulk was like I'm sorry, Hulk will pay back. He's like, wait a minute, you're a puny little human. No, I'm leaving. And then he goes into the woods.
Hulk give 4 Hulk bucks.
Yeah,
like what is Hulk gonna pay him with?
And then he goes into the woods and a bunch of wolves attack him that he thinks are dogs. He's like, why dogs attack Hulk? Hulk like dogs. This whole thing is just him trying to get away from people, man. It's crazy.
I gotta read some old Hulk. It's pretty funny. Like just having a superhero who is just an absolute moron is real fun. Like just real stupid piece of shit. we cut over to these characters, Georges, Baptiste, and Marie Cartier, these French Canadians, who are the people who lured Hulk here, is the idea. And they're watching this fight because she is the brother of the guy who is turned into the Wendigo, and they wanted the Hulk to knock out the Wendigo so they could stick the Wendigo curse into Hulk.
Yes.
Is their idea to make a much more dangerous Hulk.
Yeah, that seems like a bad idea on a lot of ways.
Idea.
Yeah, and they're going to use the power of the occult to do it. We get a little brief like over to the Canadian military who are like, if the Wolverine can't do it, we've got a super cool looking helicopter that can take care of it. Squad. And I'm like, have you guys heard? We're
going to send some people with guns at the Hulk.
And there's that's another thing that comes up in the panel after on the next page. The narration says that unnamed officer may speak more truly than even he knows. Like, why, you guys could have just given him a name. Why are we...
Whose job is it to name him?
Was that dude just not there this day? I mean, what happened?
We won't need anybody for Weapon X. We don't need to establish any characters. This isn't going anywhere. Nobody's gonna care about Wolverine.
Whoops.
Yeah. They fight. Hulk tries to smash him with a rock, and Wolverine tricks him into dropping the rock on his own head.
Mm-hmm.
They're all fighting while the occult people are preparing to do their thing. The guy, Jorge's or Georges or Georges, or I don't know how to say that in French Canadian, is trying to talk her out of it. Like, this is no good.
Yeah, you're doing a bad thing to fix a bad thing, and that's no cool. And that's not cool. And I'm out. And she's like, but you're the reason he is a Wendigo. And he's like, I don't care. I gotta leave. This is the worst. I hate all of this.
Yep.
But his conscience gets the better of him, and he sneaks back into the cave. Meanwhile, Marie is left to chain up Wolverine, and is still going to go through it. But unfortunately, Bruce Banner turns back into the Hulk at the last minute. Whoops.
Yeah. She had knocked him out with sleep powder. So like he's not going to be Bruce Banner. And that's what causes Georges to have second thoughts. He's like, we could do this to the Hulk, but I don't want to do it to a dude.
Yeah.
Hulk wakes up and sees Wolverine who's chained. And he makes fun of him. Puny little man cannot break chains. Then Hulk will break little man's chains and little man. And throws little man, smashing the chains and freeing Wolverine.
Yes.
So they can fight some more.
Only to sunder a move that serves only to sunder the pint-sized Fury's already weakened bonds.
Yes.
Sunders.
Comics.
Man, gotta love this.
So she goes out into the cave, where Georges and the Wendigo went, and finds the Wendigo, and she's freaking out. They hear him scream at this point. Wolverine Hulk knocks out Wolverine, smacks him in the head.
Yes.
Little man tried to trick Hulk, but Hulk was smarter, Hulk was stronger, and that is why Hulk won.
Got him. Fucking got him.
For
Hulk got him.
Give it to him. Yep, got him. Go get him. Get their ass, Hulk. And then she comes back in, and there's the reveal is that Georges turned himself into the Wendigo and freed her brother.
Yes.
And then she's like, why would you do this? And he's like, it's because I loved you. And the Wendigo starts crying. And it's great.
And then just smashes a hole in a cave that is already open on one side and then leaves.
Fuck you, Canada. You got a Wendigo now.
Yeah.
Just a different Wendigo.
And that's really it. The Hulk comes in and like comforts this chick for a little while, which feels super weird. It just doesn't seem like a normal thing.
And both of them are so terribly, terribly alone.
What the fuck, dude?
It's real weird. And then the letters column is called Greenskin's Grab Bag. And I don't like that phrase at all.
Yeah.
For a letter column.
This letter from Derek Hagan, I don't understand what's happening here.
No.
It's just a list of stuff that he likes.
One of the things is the Last Supper.
I don't get it.
4.
What is the crucifixion, Gary?
Yeah, Warlock Underground, working for an armed revolution. I'm a pacifist, but sometimes I empathize with the Hulk's me smash. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Man, dude, this is nuts. Also, just putting the straight up addresses on this page. That's a
yeah, dude.
not
I'm
good.
gonna write this Derek guy and get some follow up.
Yeah. Derek, what up?
That was the George R. R. Martin's first thing that was ever published that he wrote was a letter to a Marvel comic. I can't remember which comic it is. Maybe I think in Avengers, but
is that
trivia that I know for some reason?
Is that cooler or less cool than that Cliff Bleszinski dude? I can't say his name right. The Gears of War guy, who had a letter published in Nintendo Power when he was like 3.
I think it's cooler because Cliff Bleszinski sucks.
Sure, okay.
You know, like he's a bad person. And,
is he a straight up bad person? I just thought he kind of sucked. I didn't know if he was a bad person or not.
I think he's a bad person.
Oh, okay.
But I could be mixing him up with any number of other like game dev bros.
Yeah, they all seem bad to me, Gary.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Oh wait, so there is a response to Derek's thing. I don't understand. The response doesn't make it stand better. Jeff, Derek, Mary Jo, are you sure you read the same comic book? So they're all writing back in, but none of it explains Derek's weird fucking Zodiac killer riddle that he left. So I don't know. You can also clip a Marvel value stamp out of this with Shanna the She-Devil if you'd like. So it's got that going for it.
Yep. And I think that's going to do us for the Hulk, Gary. That's all the Hulk content I have in me today. If you like this podcast, patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv is the place to go to support us. Also leaving ratings and reviews on Apple Podcast or Spotify or anywhere else that you can find this podcast. If you find this podcast in the desert, just draw 5 stars in the sand right next to it.
Yeah. Or write out the waveform so you can listen to it with your eyes.
I'll tell you what, if somebody writes out the waveform and then I compare it to what it looks like in my podcast editing and it's anywhere close, I'll give you $20. I dare you. Like, I just don't think that's possible.
Yeah. In a desert, yes. Though, you can't just open up the waveform and then draw it.
Or in a dessert. Either one. I'm okay with.
Yeah. Draw it in some whipped cream on your lover's belly.
Yes. And do not send us pictures. I do not need to see your lover's belly.
No. So thank you very much. Patreon.com/DuckFeedTV, ratings, reviews on Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict, telling your friends, all those things are great.
Yep.
We appreciate it. We will be back with more first appearances next episode with the first full appearance of Mr. Sinister.
Ooh.